So, Leon, if you would
Yes.
kindly introduce yourself and tell us sort of where you're from and a bit about We Are Adam, because you could obviously tell everybody a lot better than I can.
Yeah, well, I'll try my best. So my name's Leon Milns. I am the co-founder of a business called We Are Adam. We are in our 18th year now, and we've spent the last 18 years working with growing brands and businesses, helping them find their next generation of talent. So it's been a really exciting 18 years. There's been lots of challenges along the way, as you can imagine, with a couple of recessions and COVID in there to boot. But we've thankfully, due to a really good team of people that have worked with us on the way, stood the test of time. And we've recently transitioned into being an employee-owned business, which is a really huge milestone for us. So hopefully that preserves the future of the business, gives our current and future employees a really good opportunity to develop and build their careers with us. And yeah, as we're becoming, myself and my business partners are becoming an older generation, it means that we can actually step aside and pass the baton on to people who've still got the energy, the ambition, and the ability to really take the business on. But yeah, no, it's been a real privilege helping a whole manner of businesses at all different stages of their journey, different brands, different sectors, really sort of help find their next generation talent. And that's what gets us out of bed in the morning. Yeah, meeting interesting business owners and I guess, putting them together with people that align with what they're looking for, vision-wise, culture-wise, attitude and skill-wise.
Amazing. And you've hit a few nails on the head there with things I wanted to talk about. And speaking of like the next generation of talent, I think I read quite not a scary fact, but a really interesting fact the other day, like by something like 2026, some really high percentage of the workforce is actually going to be Gen Z, like 70 or 80%, something really high like that. So obviously not only have we had like, different financial, impacts on businesses, COVID obviously impacted a lot of businesses. You've now got this whole new workplace and expectations from candidates, and this kind of like trying to align people who still own businesses with their sort of maybe set in their ways, sort of how they do things, and also trying to recruit that kind of new generation. So how do you find that you manage to sort of get people into businesses that are the right fit based on differing expectations potentially?
Yeah.
That's a big question, but
well, I think that's the $1 million question, isn't it? It's really hard, and there's not one size fits all. If you look at the generation that I'm in, well, I'm late 40s now, so what generations that I'm keeping losing track. We are that kind of generation that in our 20s probably worked for one business. Well, I personally fell out of university and worked for a corporate PLC for 5 years, so really got myself, sunk my teeth into the opportunity to develop within that business, and then moved on and set up We Are Adam. But I think, a lot of my generation have probably done a tranche of or a stint of 5 to 10 years in one business, got up the corporate ladder, and then maybe moved on, set up their own businesses or done a similar thing. And I think there's a real trend now and understanding that the Gen Z model, want to get experience across many different businesses, many different sectors, different sizes of the business, and they don't have the expectation that they need to do what we did as old farts did back in the day, of really have to dig in and climb the corporate ladder. So it's very, very hard. And as I say, I think each business has to set up their own unique culture, their own unique proposition to attract people that might only want to come and do a short-term stint. And that's fine if there's an understanding between employer and employee that this person might only come and do a 6-month contract or a 12-month contract, and both get the best out of each. That's fine, that works. But I think it's a really hard question to answer, to be honest. I don't have an answering it at all. The world of work has changed massively, and the trend of people going to university, like back in my day, maybe in your day as well, was the, I guess, the route path to success, or the way you develop your life and progress your life is A levels, get a degree and then go and work for a business or a corporate or whatever it might well be, and escalate that ladder. Now, unfortunately, or I don't know, social media has glamorized these get-rich-quick schemes. To say that right, it's a hard thing to say. Get-rich-quick schemes. Some people are brilliant at it. Some of these influencers have absolutely nailed it, and I doff my cap to the people that have managed to really carve a niche in that. But unfortunately, the glamour that's associated with that has become a bit cancerous, if you like, because it means that it's spreading that everyone wants to jump on that bandwagon and try to get rich quick, and it's bloody hard. And I don't know, probably a very, very small, very 0.01% of people probably nail it. The net impact of that is that people aren't prepared to look at a 12, 18-month career trajectory of, right, it's going to take you 18 months to progress from an exec to a manager, to a senior exec, then another 18 months to a senior manager, and then the salary attribution to that level, to that level, to that level.
Yeah.
You know, it takes time. It takes time. And you've got to put in the hours to get your air miles. There's no way to cut corners. And unfortunately, that I think there is this blinding of lights with this generation. They will be able to get there quick, and some people do, but a lot of people don't. And I think that's the challenge that we're all going to face: how we can create an environment, a learning environment for one, an exciting environment, an adult culture where you feel like you are accountable for your career development. And I guess with this agile, flexible working model, there is a propensity of people that want to dictate, well, I don't really fancy going to the office today. But for me, back in my 20s, I loved being in the office because I loved being surrounded by like-minded people like me. We're in the trenches together. We were learning together. We were winning together. We were losing together. On a Thursday, we'd go out and have a few beers if we'd had a good week or even a bad week. You know, it's about that sense of community and sense of being part of something bigger than something else. You know, I'm sitting here at home today and I'm struggling to motivate myself. I've got 5 sleeping cats around me, and you know, I just get such a buzz about being around people and helping and learning and listening and cajoling and that sense of teamship. So I think there's so many challenges that all businesses are facing at the moment from a talent perspective.
Yeah, so many. No, completely agree. But like, we are able now to consume things and progress things at a quicker rate than ever. Like, if we want food, we can order Just Eat, Deliveroo. It's there in like 5 minutes. We know sometimes on Friday in the office, we're like, oh, let's have a McDonald's breakfast or something. Other breakfasts are available, obviously. But we will consume things really quickly. We find something on Google, social media, it's all there. So I get that thing where they're impatient and they don't want to wait for that kind of progression. I mean, I'm in a bit of a family of entrepreneurs. So my mum had a private day nursery for like 35 years, her own business. My sister's got her own business, or like multiples of them. My brother has his own medical recruitment business. But I actually love the security of coming to work, being around a team.
Yeah.
I've not got to worry about paying people's wages. I love being able to progress in my role and see a plan of where I'm going to go and what I'm going to be able to do, and having that kind of security, but also the plan in place. I know I can make the role my own, because Jane and Olivia have done that for me and said, we want you to mold this role. We've never had this role before. And I think for me, that was quite sort of exciting. I can do things with this. I can do Entice and the external marketing and support my clients, but I can also, they brought in Endorphin, obviously, what we're talking about today, in internal communications and culture. And then obviously I sort of pitched the idea of us doing the B Corp assessment and becoming, differentiating ourselves in the local market by actually offering something different. And since then, we've been inundated with, are there any jobs at Entice, or can we do work experience with you? And it does set you apart. Adam, you are totally unique. So businesses are having to look at their offering and look at what they're offering that is different, because it is competitive out there, I guess.
Yeah, I think when we actually sit back and reflect, I think business and our careers are about the journey, not the destination. We're all wanting to get somewhere and climb somewhere, of course we are, but where you get your battle scars and your learnings and your wisdom is that there's that route, isn't it? And it's never a straightforward line. If it was, it'd be boring. Let's be fair. Of course it was. And I think we need to sit back and think, why do we work? Why do we work? And what gets us out of bed in the morning? We want to do meaningful and purposeful work. So at the end of the day, we can sit back, or at the end of the working week, sit back and go, look what I've done this week. Look where I've helped X, Y, and Z, or look where I've added value to that person or that business. And we want to, if we do have a drink at the end of the week, sit back and go, I've really enjoyed what I've done this week, and I've really enjoyed doing that work with the people that I've done it with, and I feel fulfilled at what I'm doing Monday to Friday. So then go enjoy our weekend and come back at it on Monday. So there's so many different levels of why we go about, why we work, and what we need to do to enjoy our work. And I think it's been forgotten in this new era that we're in. It's about people are trying to make as much money as possible and glamorize it. And I think people who are making shed loads of money via this influencer kind of stuff might well feel a bit empty and vacuous, because what actual impact are you having at all different levels?
Yeah,
it's just I'm just chucking it out there as a bone of contention. How fulfilled will you feel? Yes, you might have a few extra zeros in your bank account, but does that at the end of the day make you feel happy and fulfilled? I don't know.
No, and I fully agree. And there are people out there, the likes of Stephen Bartlett. I know he always gets referenced, but I do watch quite a few of his Diary of a CEOs, and he's always saying, it's been for him, like, he thought the destination of seeing all those noughts in his bank account when he sold his first share in his first business would be like the golden moment, and he's made it. But he said he actually felt quite empty when all that money landed in his account. And actually, that's why he's gone on to do the podcasts and really get into the sort of psychology of people in business or celebrity. And actually, that's more the purpose for him than the money. I know he's earning a huge amount of money, but
same with lots of sports people, isn't it? I think lots of Olympians, when they've trained for 4 years for that 100-meter sprint to win the gold medal. Once you've done that, you've won the gold medal. They plunge into depression because that whole 4 years has been going to that one moment, and then that's what's the next Everest they're climbing.
Like you say, purpose and vision. We're constantly speaking to our clients about this. How well are you communicating that? Has it got lost somewhere in your website, what your purpose and vision and values are? We do a lot of workshops with some of our clients we do our external marketing for. We then go in as internal, as Endorphin, say, none of your team seem to know what your purpose is. So when we're doing your marketing strategy for you, we really want to get that across, because your external marketing can be brilliant. Your internal comms can be brilliant for your external PR, and your recruitment, whatever you're doing internally, can become your external marketing as well. So it's trying to get that out of them, and taking businesses sometimes back to their original purpose and their vision as to why they set up the business in the first place.
And that's got to underpin everything they do, and it's got to underpin their talent attraction and retention strategy 100%. Because if you live and breathe that raison d'etre and purpose, and you find people that totally align with that, that's half the battle done, isn't it?
Totally. And make your business decisions with people in your business based on all your decisions should be made. All our decisions are made entice around what we learned through doing, going through the B Corp framework, culture. Is it, are we even, our suppliers, are they local? Are they within sort of 15 miles of where we are? Because we want to put money back into the local, community. Our suppliers should be local. And then, how's this going to impact in terms of social value and community? Are we doing enough?
Even clients that you partner with, do they align with how your heartbeat drums?
Totally. And Jane and Libby have really sort of, if we have a meeting with a potential client, regardless of whether we could sign them up for a big retainer, the first thing is do our personalities fit? Do our values align? Do we know we're going to get on with them? Are they going to be nice to work with them? I think you said that actually at our event, that you are very much the same. You work with people who you like working with.
And you always get that sense, that gut feel. I'm sure we've all worked with businesses where you go, something doesn't quite sit right with me. But you know what? this month's looking a bit tight, so let's give it a go. And they always become the problem children, don't they? And at the end of it, you just look back and reflect and go, why did I bother? But again, you've got the battle scars that makes you make a better decision next time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So in terms of like how businesses that you work with like communicate internally, you said a lot of attrition happens in that first sort of 6 months or something, do you think a lot of that is down to like a communication issue? Yeah,
100%. I think there's I look at businesses that do that have an out and out onboarding process, where you really are handheld through a really good rigorous process. You see warts and all what makes the business unique, how the proposition works. You meet people from different departments, different levels who've been there for a while. You have a really good opportunity to really climb inside their heads and learn from all these different people. So giving you the best possible platform for success. You understand about what success looks like, what the business needs and wants from you. How often you can get feedback, all that kind of good stuff.
So it's like really the devil's in the detail.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I also have heard absolute stinkers of tales of people who turn up on day one, been sitting at reception for 25 minutes. The company's not even expecting them to start on that day, and then they're plonked in a corner and gone, right, off you go. So you think, well, that first 3 months is all about, think if you put it, what's a nice analogy? The early stages of being in a relationship with someone, you bring your A game, don't you? You want to make them feel the very best version of themselves, and you want that back. So it's a real two-way sort of process, isn't it? So the more businesses share the love, the more return you're going to get, and the more fidelity or loyalty that you're going to get from that employee.
Totally. It's like
in 18 years, I've never used that analogy, but I quite like it. I think it works well.
treat your employees, from day one, even in the most junior roles, even the cleaners and the blinking people, like people that you would want to be in a long-term relationship with.
Well, think about the amount of time you've spent, the amount of money you've spent to get that person to come and work for you or work with you. Why would you put in all that graft for however long and then just potentially throw it all down the drain and day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because you just lose interest?
Pointless, isn't it? Completely wasted time. But no, I think from day one, when we have a new starter or we have a work experience person come in, because we have them quite regularly, work experience placements. And by the way, we have found some absolute gems from that. Like we've found some people who've gone on to work for Sky or get graduate training schemes with amazing companies. So our work experience scheme has been amazing. But they come in day one and we created an Entice culture book.
Brilliant.
So it's just a little book about 15 pages, beautifully designed, really visual, because obviously that's what we do. But it's got all about kind of our purpose and how we look after our clients and why we kind of get up in the morning. And then at the back, it's got like a little tea and coffee chart, so they can go around, speak to everybody, and ask them, "Oh, how do you like your brew?" and just write it in the little book.
Yeah. Brilliant.
It's just little details like that make them feel included and part of the team from day one.
I saw a brilliant one actually, and when I worked in London 5 years ago, I went to a business called What If Innovation. So a bunch of really smart people, and I was waiting for my meeting. I needed to go to the loo, so I went to the loo. They pointed me down to the loo, and I went into the loo, and then they had pictures of new starters who joined that week. And a few little things of, who am I, what role am I doing, what my hobbies are. Just something quirky like that. And I thought, you know what? I thought that was such a lovely, gentle way, quite quirky way of just for visual people when they are just going to the loo quickly. Oh, right, okay, right. So if I see that person, must say hello and that sort of thing. So there's so many little ways that you can make people feel comfortable and get them settled in quickly.
And I have seen that done really well when people are returning to work after like maternity and paternity leaves. They've come back to work and they put on like a screen in the office. I think I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day, like, "Welcome back, Hannah, baby, whatever is how many months old, first day back in please go and say hello, welcome her back, and she loves tea, and make her feel welcome. Oh my God, I did not have any of that when I went back after maternity leave. I cried on my first day back. Can't bother doing it.
Oh no.
So it would have been super nice, when people are returning after being poorly and they come back, just those little details. And sometimes we find that HR teams are way too busy to think about those little details. Like, I mean, in my calendar, I've got like my clients' birthdays marked, and to check if, their mum's okay because she's been in hospital, because I've got the time and the space to kind of note those little details down. But in terms of having like an internal comms function in the business, not everybody has the luxury of having that, which is sort of where we come in and kind of speak to businesses and chat to them about, have you thought about doing this? And just take a step back and come in from an outside perspective and go, you've got the bare fundamentals and the basics. You do everything great, but your HR team's so busy, they're missing so many nice details in terms of communicating with your employees. So we think it's massively important, internal comms, but you probably see the horror stories as well more often than not.
Yeah, so just to go back to your point then about your clients' birthdays and all that kind of stuff. But one of the first lessons I ever learned when I started my career was, you've probably heard the phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But it's not what you know, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's what you know about who that counts. So, just that little thing,
Very true.
it's your best client's daughter's birthday at the weekend. So you call them tomorrow, you call them today. I hope Sophia has a great birthday tomorrow. It's how you make people feel special.
Totally.
And it's small little touches, isn't it? We as human beings like to feel connected, don't we? And I think the whole communication piece in a business, you cannot over communicate in a business. The best businesses are having regular updates on a weekly basis. They have the quarterly updates where they share warts and all on this was the business plan. This is where we've done well against the business plan. This is where we haven't. These are now the key focuses or points that we need to work on in Q2, for instance. This is what we need to do to get back on track and get ahead of budget. All those kind of nurturing conversations make people feel part of something special and bigger than they actually are at. And that drives retention, that drives hard work, drives loyalty. And the best leaders that I've worked with and seed in businesses really do over-articulate vision, values, purpose, strategy, all that kind of good stuff. And that's how you get people on the journey with you.
Like you said, you can't ever really over communicate in a business. I know consistent comms are really important, and we encourage people to send them out, on brand, in the company colors, consistent, they look nice, they're engaging, they're not really boring internal emails. It is about the creativity around it as well. In terms of anyone can do internal comms and send out, Teams messages and internal, but we really believe in making them fun and playful. Everybody wants to play at work and have fun. And if you're trying to communicate something boring, do it in a really good way. I saw a really good case study at the last Engage employee conference I went to. I'm going to one next Tuesday, actually. If you ever get to listen, they're brilliant at the brewery in London. Ruby Wax is the headline speaker, so I'm going to this.
Amazing. She'll be awesome.
I love her so much. But there was a case study there from a pharmaceutical kind of consultancy business, and the business problem was that internally they were spending way too much on air travel for meetings. So they were like, well, wait, look how much money we're spending on these meetings. Some of these could actually be Teams calls. We don't have to fly to Berlin for a 2-hour meeting. So it was air miles, and it was obviously they're kind of in line with their sort of ESG policies and things. They were trying to reduce the spend and the air miles. And they tried internally to communicate this, like getting people to check, before they booked flights, like, was this really necessary? They came up with a really cool, they couldn't say the name of the business because, they signed NDAs and all these things, but they came up with a really creative campaign. It was sort of like a word which meant something, and it was really visual. And actually they reduced over the 12-month period, I think they reduced flights by and the spend on flights by like 48% or something. It was a really high number.
Fantastic.
Just having a clear, concise, creative campaign to solve a business problem.
Yeah, brilliant. Love it.
So for me, I was like, that just shows it's not just the internal comms, it is the creativity around it and how you communicate it.
And constant repetition drives the message home. Just keep reinforcing that message.
Totally.
It's amazing the amount of things that go in one ear, out the other ear in a meeting. Even, you know, there's so much information being bombarded at us on a daily basis, isn't it? So
yeah,
we forget stuff. So, you know, the key messages that businesses need to articulate, just keep driving them.